Hello all, welcome to this new video. In this video, we are going to see a set of formulas which will help you to master Excel in very few steps. So those are the formulas which will be applied whenever there is a condition in your requirement. Having said that, condition could be solved only using if functions. So we have a set of if functions along with the other aggregate functions. Those are listed here. Like if, nested if, COUNTIF, SUMIFS. We will see all these formulas one by one in the following video. Now we will see if function as the first one. Okay. Before entering into if function, first let me tell you how to apply if function. So whenever there is a condition and on that you want to perform a logical test. For example, say here I have units. So in this unit we have different numbers mentioned across every transactions, like which region, which rep and which item they have mentioned. All right. In this one, whichever is sold more than 50 units, that has to be mentioned as high selling and others should be marked as others. This is the simple logic function I need to perform. I repeat, wherever the units got sold more than 50, that should be marked as high selling and others should be marked as others. Now let's write this if function. So I'm giving equal to if. See, guys, whenever you're working in Excel on any functions, the very important thing is you need to follow these arguments very religiously. You should never skip or bypass any of this argument steps provided here. And apart from that, I'll give you another information. Whenever you see any argument present within the square braces, it is optional. It is not mandate that you have to give that. If you want to ignore, you can ignore it. Now, if you see logical test is not present in that square braces, so it has to be mandatorily given. Now I'm picking up the unit cell and I'm just marking above 50, which is greater than 50. This is as per the requirement I need to enter. All right. Now in case if this test passes, value if true is, I need to enter it as a high ceiling. I'm typing this within a double quotes because it is a text, and in case if this fails, I need to mark it as others. All right. Now I marked as others and then I'm closing. If you follow, as per this logical test, if the units are greater than 50, it should be marked as high selling. If this test fails, it should be marked as others. Now I did both and I'm just giving enter. If you see, we have gotten the result as per the requirement stated. So if you see, all the items which is having units more than 50 are marked as high selling. Yes, now it is working. Now let's move on to the next topic, that is nested if. So here let me state the requirement little elaborately for this function. Okay, so here if you see, I have totally three conditions where the range ranges between the values provided. In case if the number of units is above 50, means it should be marked as high. If it falls between 50 to 25, it should be marked as better. In case if it falls between 0 to 25, means it should be marked as low. This is the requirement which we need to work upon. All right, now let's go on to the function. So I'll mark this as result. Okay, based on the units provided here. Now I'm typing if. Guys, I request you to pay attention to this. See, first one is I'm working on the first condition, whatever that is needed. If so, the logical test is here is this. If this cell, say I'm writing the first argument. Okay, if it is above 50, I'm marking greater than 50, then the result I need to get is high. Okay. In case if it is false, means I need to move on to the next argument in the requirement. Okay, I'm giving alt enter so that it will come to the next line. Okay, now I'll open it again. If again I'm writing another if condition. So here we are going to write if condition in a loop. So this is known as nested if. So within if we are writing multiple if conditions. So if you see, again I'm picking the same cell. In case if it is greater than 25, then it should be marked as better. Okay, so we have left with only one condition. If you wanted to execute it with another if condition also, you can do it, else you can just result it with false, value if false, because we have left out only with one argument, right? So I'll mark it as low. All right, now I'll just close it. Make sure you are closing all the parentheses so that it will not result you in an error. I'm just giving enter. See, now we have gotten the appropriate results based on the units. So wherever it is marked as above 50, it is resulted as high, and wherever it is present between 50 to 25, it is marked as better, and whichever is less than 25, it is marked as low. All right, I hope this one is useful for you. Let's move on to the next topic. Let's discuss about another topic, that is COUNTIF. COUNTIF is one of the important functions in Excel which will be used in a daily basis by any data analyst or business analyst. As stated in the beginning of this video, whenever there is a condition in your requirement, you have to use the appropriate if function. Now we have totally three requirements and it has some condition in it. Now let's check that. So in the first requirement, it is mentioned how many times east is mentioned in the region column. In this data set, there is a column called region, and under that regions have been present multiple times here. Now we need to calculate how many times east is present. Okay, so this is a condition which we have to perform along with the aggregate count. Okay, we need to count a particular region. All right, now let's see how to execute this COUNTIF function in detail. I'm typing COUNTIF and select the range. Okay, so select the range and mark which is the criteria. So you can write east under double quotes, or else you can select any cell where east is mentioned. Okay, now I'm selecting B7 and I'm closing this. Now let me check this. So it says totally 7 times east is repeated. Now let's check that. I'm selecting the headers, Control Shift L for filters, and I'm selecting east. All right, now if you see, totally 7 times it is present. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. 7 times it has been repeated. Yes, now it works. Now let's move on to the next requirement similar way. All right, so now here how many times pencil is mentioned in the item column. All right, so here also pencil is repeated multiple times. Let's check how many times it is mentioned. Okay, so I'm going to count if this is the range. Okay, so here I would like to remind you, while selecting the range, please don't select the complete column because there will be a mistake. Say for example, now this data set is present. Say after some time you are entering another data set over here, means it will count that as well. So always be precise in which region in which range you have to compute this function. All right, I'm selecting this range and I'm giving pencil as a criteria. All right, now if you see, totally 8 number of times pencil is repeated under this item section. Now let's check how many transactions are done by Jyoti. So if you see here under Jyoti's representation, multiple transactions has been carried out. Now let's check how many transactions done by Jyoti. Okay, so I'm doing COUNTIF. I'm selecting the range, and under this I'm choosing the criteria as Jyoti. All right, now let me close this. See, it has been very simple. Totally 7 transactions have been undertaken by Jyoti. I hope now COUNTIF is very clear for you. In the end of this session, I'll give you a project. Please solve that. Let's come back to another topic. So earlier we have seen COUNTIF. So in COUNTIF you might have noticed there is only one condition to perform the count. Say for example, we have counted how many number of east has been mentioned in the region column. Like this, one condition has been given. What if there were multiple conditions given to perform the aggregate function like count? All right, say for example, in this condition we have been asked to count how many transactions contain Jyoti and pencil together. So we need to count Jyoti and pencil together. Say for example, this is 1, this is 2, this is Jyoti and binder. So this is not as per the requirement, so we need to exclude this. All right, so this is also Jyoti and binder. So we need to calculate only Jyoti and pencil, how many times it is present together. All right, for that, whenever you have a condition multiple times, you have to use if s, that is a plural form. So if is a singular, which means one condition. If s means it's a plural form, which has more than one condition. All right, now I'll go to formula, that is COUNTIF s. I'm selecting it. The first criteria is I'm selecting the representation, and then I'm giving the criteria. All right, this is Jyoti. And the next criteria range is items. I'm selecting the complete item range, and then I'm giving pencil. All right. Now, if you see, you can keep on extending any number of times. Okay, say for example, if you wanted to include region as well, means you can include it. Okay, so you can include any number of conditions, and moreover, there is no defined order that you have to choose this one first and next one, like that. You can choose any in any which order. All right. Now let me close this. See, we have gotten 4 times. Now let's check this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So rest everywhere Jyoti has sold some other item. So we should not include that. I hope this is clear for you. All right, now let's move on to the next topic, that is SUMIF and SUMIFS. So just like how we have checked in COUNTIF, like we are doing a count operation whenever there is a condition, and same for COUNTIFS. So whenever there is a multiple conditions to perform a count function. All right, so the same logic applies for SUMIF and SUMIFS. So we are doing sum for a set of values based on the condition. Same way, SUMIFS based on multiple conditional values, we are performing the sum operation. Now let's move on to the first question, that is what is the total amount of east region. So here we need to compute this total value, I mean the total sum of values with respect to the east region. So there is a condition over here in the region, and the sum has to be performed in the total. All right, so I repeat, sum has to be performed in the total column, the condition has to be applied in the region column. All right, now let me run the SUMIF function. As I keep on telling you, we need to follow these arguments very religiously whenever we write any function. So in SUMIF, if you see, the range come first, criteria comes next, and the sum range come at the last. So now first choose the range where the condition has to be applied. So this is the range. I'm clicking Control Shift down to select the whole range, comma, and the condition is east, b2, comma, and then I'm choosing the sum range. This is the total. All right, Control Shift down. Okay, now the entire range has been chosen, and then I'm closing it. See, now we have gotten the total amount for east region. This is the value. All right, yes. Now let's get on to the next question, that is what is the total amount of pencils sold by Jyoti in east region. If you watch very clearly, we have multiple conditions in this question. All right, so one is pencils in the item, Jyoti in the representation, east in the region. All right, now let's perform this using a SUMIF function because it has multiple conditions. All right, now let me type SUMIFS. All right, see here, unlike in some if, it is the sum range comes first, but in SUMIF it comes at the last. So follow this argument very religiously. Now I'm selecting the sum range, that is Control Shift down, everything has been selected. Next, criteria, so you can choose it in any order. First I'm choosing the region, so criteria 1 is this, and next is representation by Jyoti. I'm clicking on this, and the items are pencils. All right, yes. Now I've chosen everything. Now I'm just see, now we have gotten the value, that is 363 and 70 paise. As a part of bonus tip, let's see another two functions which is subjected under the same logic. That is, we are going to find the minimum value in a range based on a condition. All right. So now we have two formulas, that is minimum ifs and maximum ifs. That is min ifs, max ifs. All right. So now let's move on to the first question. Mention the least number of units sold under central region. If you see, we have units. So in every transaction, there is a certain amount of units that is mentioned, and out of that we need to find the minimum for the central region under regional column. All right, now let me type the formula, that is minimum if s. All right, so the minimum range is units. Okay, so Control Shift down, I'm selecting the complete range, and I'm taking the criteria one. Criteria is this, that is from region, I'm selecting everything, and then I'm choosing central because that is a condition for us. All right, now let me close it. See, we got two units here. In central region, the minimum is 2. So we got the answer correct. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. Mention the highest total value among west region for pencils. Here we have two conditions, which means we need to find out the maximum value in this range with the two conditions applied in region as well as in item. All right, now let's move on and check out what is the answer. Now max if s. All right, the maximum range is same, sorry, total value from here, and I'm taking this for west region. So I'll choose region first and I'll take west, comma, the next range is item, that is pencil. All right, now this, comma, this, and I'm closing it. See, we got the value. The highest value for west in pencil is this 167.44. We got the same answer. I hope this is also clear for you. And I also believe that this video is highly useful for you Kindly practice all the mentioned topics in this video. What follows is the list of questions where you can apply all these formulas to practice yourself. So kindly treat this as an assignment and start working on it. In case if you do have any questions or any clarifications needed on the questions and topics, please do mention in the comment section. I'll clarify you. Thanks for watching. I hope this video is useful for you.